The Brandon Peters Show may contain explicit language and detailed plot points. For more information on the show, stay tuned to the end of the episode. And now, here he is, Brandon.
Oh, hi there. Just brushing up on some Doctor Who stuff. Oh my gosh, it's finally time to share with you some of my Doctoberfest 2023 coverage, which has a special guest, Sophie Aldred, who played Ace on Doctor Who from 1987 to 1989, famously the 7th Doctor, Sylvester McCoy's companion, who returned to the show in 2022 for Power of the Doctor, the 13th Doctor's regeneration story. Doctoberfest is an annual festival put on in celebration of Doctor Who by Who North America, a store that is celebrating its 25th anniversary, or celebrated it here in 2023. I got involved with them, brought in to do some sort of like media package to help bring material to create like a 3 to 5 minute video to showcase the fun and what Doctoberfest is. It consisted of me going around talking to people at the festival, from people who were just kind of involved, their vendors, or mainly the guests that were there. So I had a lot of fun doing it, and I want to thank Keith and Jenny Bradbury, the owners of Who North America, for having me and treating me so well over the weekend. It was unforgettable. Like, I mean it. I cannot stop thinking about Doctoberfest. Loved it. So, yes, Sophie Aldred. End of this, you'll see her. In the middle of it, we have a Punch and Judy show, which the podcast listeners' audio, they didn't get. So you'll get a little short, exclusive Punch and Judy show for the Brandon Peters Show, and an interview with the puppeteer for the Punch and Judy show. So that's exclusive here. So if you came from the podcast and you want something different, that's here as well. You get to see what the people are doing here. So the interviews here are a little bit softball, like fluffy, but that's the intention of them. We didn't really deep dive. I did get some personal Doctor Who, the collection Blu-ray stuff to talk about with Sophie, behind the sofa with her and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just mainly, who are you? What's up with this? And what do you think of Doctoberfest? Which is a fun thing. And I do want to note as well that the audio, when we got that back, was not desirable, but I've done my best to repair, to fix it. So while it may not be the top-notch high standards you're used to on the show, I think I did a pretty good job, and I think I rescued it enough, and you'll enjoy it pretty good. So pretty excited about that. And I'm excited for you to finally see this. And remember also the video being taken from it. We are on the go. So we're getting different angles as I'm talking to people. So it's not just a standard thing. There's going to be different cuts because it's a quicker video. So if it makes some weird movements or goes in different places while I'm talking, that's supposed to happen because I'm just releasing the lengthier thing for my show, which I think is worth hearing. In addition to Sophie, I talked to one of the largest Doctor Who collectors in the world. I also talked to a Lego master and a film prop collector who has actual sonic screwdrivers touched by David Tennant, Christopher Eccleston, Jodie Whittaker. Kind of cool. He's kind of cool too, so enjoy that. Our good pal Russell McGee's here as well. So there's a lot of excellent people in addition to Sophie Aldred. So I'll stop blabbing. Want to thank Jonathan Bradbury, who without you, I wouldn't have the camera work. I wouldn't have the audio. He supplied. Good guy. So let's begin Doctoberfest 2023. Where else but Who North America? And let's talk to owner Keith Bradbury. And I hope you enjoy this journey through Doctoberfest 2023.
Doctoberfest.
Yeah.
About North America, there is no Doctoberfest.
That's right.
Doctor Who's been there for 60 years. You have now been here for 25 years.
That is correct.
So if you told 1998 self this, what would you say?
I would say, wow. Because when I started it was so small. It was just like a shelf in my office, and that was it. We just had some different things we'd picked up. Because me being a fan of the show and growing up, I just wanted to own some of the stuff that I couldn't have as a kid. When I was a child, I could get all the Star Wars stuff I wanted. I could get Battlestar Galactica stuff, Star Trek stuff. You could get Space 1999. But when it came to Doctor Who, there was very little merchandise other than books. And so I knew the companies in the UK that had made the toys. And when the internet came around in the late 90s, it started becoming more and more prevalent. It was like, I'm going to contact these companies in the UK and see if I can get some of their stuff. But of course, getting just one or two items was kind of out of the question with them. Right. They said, you buy a certain amount of stuff, we're willing to do it. And I'd been doing web development with this website, and we were kind of chatting about Doctor Who and stuff. I said, well, maybe if I pick some up, I can sell it on my website, and maybe somebody will buy some.
Right.
And within a short time of getting some, I had to order more. That's how much demand there was.
That's crazy. And this was during a kind of dead period in terms of relevant media with Doctor Who, that the TV movie didn't take off, and you're not even to Scream of the Schalke yet, which was a celebration for one. So
yeah, that's correct.
Interesting period to start, and then there was already demand.
Right. Yeah, and well, as kind of an obsessed fan, it wasn't a question I was thinking about, because it wasn't a goal to start a business. It was more like I just really kind of wanted to get some stuff.
Right.
But back at that point, the interesting thing of what the internet was doing for us as Doctor Who fans is we were actually finding people we could trade videotapes with to get some of the stuff we'd never seen before.
Right. Yeah.
There were things like reconstructions of missing episodes. There were UK commercials that were going around on VHS tapes of compilations that people had been doing with different actors from Doctor Who. So there was a lot of that going on, and we were all communicating with each other on the internet. And some of us had thought that, hey, this might be the opportunity of a lifetime to find the missing episodes.
Right.
And so there was a lot of discussion on that kind of stuff because the internet opened a door that wasn't there before of instant communication with people all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of where it began. And right as we were doing it, Big Finish was just coming along with the Bernice Summerfield audience.
Okay.
This was before they got the license to do Doctor Who, but they could do Bernice Summerfield. And so that was right at the beginning, and we just started carrying some of their first CDs, and it all kind of grew out of that.
So you have an amazing collection of them every time I come in. So much.
Yeah.
So much, so good. And there's a place that houses all of them rather than just ordering online or streaming. Right. You can have the physical copy.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Yeah. We've been carrying those 25 years now. So, yeah.
Wow. Are you one of the oldest physical retailers of them then, or?
Yes, we were one of the earliest ones to adopt them. I know that Alien Entertainment was probably the other one.
Okay.
Back in those days, also Ministry of Sound and Vision in Florida, they were the ones who started bringing it in, but we'd actually already started communicating with Big Finish even before they were starting to do that. So that was quite some time.
Gotcha. So like the 2005, but we got in the U.S. in 2006 to 10 period, was that a big boom in business for you?
Oh, it was huge.
That was, you planted it, and then.
Right, and we'd already been in business 7 years. And the funny thing is that all the people who were getting involved in the new Doctor Who were stuff that were people we were aware of. I mean, Russell T. Davies had already written a book.
Right.
We'd already been doing a Big Finish Audio. So Nicholas Briggs, we'd known him 2 years. We'd been involved in the Mythmaker video series, which he'd been involved in with Keith Barnfather. So all these people who were big names in Doctor Who for the new series were people where, hey, we're already aware of who these are, and some of them we even knew. So it was kind of funny that we kind of came in on this side, the store end, while they're on the production side on that end. So
big deal.
Yeah.
And now you have this, one of the features in the store here, you have this museum collectibles. Is it just stuff you've had, or did you bring in others as well? I mean, I know that some of the props and stuff have been.
Yeah, it's all been stuff we've collected since we started.
Mm-hmm.
Before I started this, the only thing I had were some Target novelizations of my own and some books. So everything that we've accumulated, as far as in display, has been since we've been in business. Because one of the goals we'd always had was to just try to keep one for ourselves and sell the rest.
Gotcha.
And so we did that, starting with Daypole figures and stuff like that. And as we've grown, it's like keep one, put it on display. and then keep on going like that. And that's where we came from, and that's where we're at now. So
do you think we're going to see like a boost too with the Disney Plus edition? So it's available, like the access to it will be bigger?
I think that's one of the things in the last few years, access to the show has really dropped because, it was on BBC America, but that was such a limited cable channel. When Doctor Who was doing best, it was when it was kind of on Sci-Fi Channel, and it was doing really well. And then it's really become harder and harder to watch as far as some of that. They can have some classic episodes on Pluto TV.
Pluto TV is great,
which is awesome. But a lot of people not been able to see the new episodes. So having on a major streaming service is definitely going to be good for business.
Definitely, for sure. And then the genesis of the Doctoberfest. When did you start thinking I can do a little more to celebrate this with utilizing my store and stuff like that? So when did that?
Well, we bought this building about 8 years ago, and one of the things we thought about with all the land and everything was, hey, we'd like to throw a festival where people can come, and we're started thinking big as far as, hey, we've got all this property, we can put vendors outside, we can have like a little fair, and that's kind of what we wanted to do. We just really wanted to do some things like that. There were a lot of people that, since we'd done conventions in the past, there were a lot of people we'd met before who liked to do Doctor Who things. Right. Like, hey, let's get together and let's have a little festival fall festival. And that's really where it all grew out of. We didn't want to head necessarily in the convention direction because there's so many conventions. We wanted to do something that was a little different. Right. And that's what Doctoberfest has always been. It's just something that's a little more fall festival friendly type.
And it's all Doctor Who stuff. It's everything. Your vendors have to be Doctor Who specific. Right. And everything else is not just like, hey, we sold them a booth though, so they can put whatever they want here. I like that it's very constant.
Yeah, we just really want to make it Doctor Who, and just kind of the thing where it's like it's different than the other things you're going to, but it is still all Doctor Who.
Yeah, and it welcomed in a very nice vibe of people that are all kind and just enjoy talking the show, and it's been delightful.
Oh yeah, and the nice thing too is that a lot of these people are customers who've been with us for years. So we've seen them throughout the year, and they're coming back, and there's some people who are coming from several states away. But they're all people we've known for some time since we've been doing this.
Any since you do online or stuff, any famous customers you have buy regularly from North America?
Famous customers,
is that the real?
Well, it's funny that over the years we've had different, who I'd say famous people who bought from us, but usually it's at a convention or something like that. Whether it's Will Wheaton stopping by and picking some stuff up, or Brent Spiner's come in and bought some stuff. So we've had some people who've actually been in our booths when we've been confirmed. But as far as regular online customers, I'm sure there have been some, but it's just one of the things where it's like I don't keep track necessarily of all the names, but I do. When I'm at conventions and someone walks in and they pick some stuff up and they start chatting with you. I know we had one guy chatting with us for quite a while. He was buying some stuff. And then when he left, one of the guys said, "Did you know that's the actor who played Darth Maul in Star Wars?"
Oh, really?
Like, oh no, I had no clue. About the makeup, I had no idea.
Well, of course, makeup, hair,
yeah. It's like you run across the people at conventions, but if you're not really aware facially of who they are, it's like, oh, I didn't recognize.
Gotcha. And then you have a cast member Doctor Who here this week.
Sophie Aldred. It's awesome.
Big land and. So 25 years, 25 more, hopefully.
Well, I hope we get some going. That's
a long time.
Yeah, there's lots of things we'd love to do, like expand the museum, get more cabinets, because we've got this only represents about half we've got,
right.
And there's a lot of stuff we can't put out just because so much stuff,
space and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, excellent. I hope we do have those 25 more years.
Thank you.
In Doctor Who and the store and So thank you for taking time.
I appreciate it. It's good meeting you. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
And to all the viewers, thanks for watching.
All right, Larry VanMersbergen has one of the largest collections of Doctor Who stuff in the world.
Yeah, pretty close.
In the United States as well.
That's maybe second in the United States.
Actually, in the United States. But he was telling me about his collection yesterday and stuff. And how many Doctoberfest is this for you now?
This is my second.
Second one.
Yeah, I got invited back as a guest this year, which means I did a great job last year.
And you provide sort of a museum for sorts here.
Yes. That was the idea, is that we have a dedicated room where people can come through and see the evolution of merchandise from the early 60s to the modern age, and see where the big, splurges were in merchandise. Like in 65 for Dalek Mania, and not until 83 for the 20th anniversary. But in between, there was a few things here and there. Target Books started, Doctor Who Magazine in 79, but the anniversary of 83, then 93 had another boost, and then 96 had a huge boost for the movie, then nothing until 2005, and then it just exploded.
Yeah.
More things have been produced since 2005 than in all past history.
It's crazy.
I know.
You love the hunger for it.
I do.
It's harder as a collector. I'm sure there's just more to like, I got this to get into.
It's actually, I look for the odd and the unusual.
Gotcha.
Something that, I don't know many of those. And I've got a few items that are just that, special.
Gotcha.
And that's what I really want to go for. I'm still trying to complete runs like the full hardcover classic editions or all the blue spines or getting all my Target book editions. And that's, just slowly but surely coming together.
Are you getting ahead of the game with the Magic the Gathering? I
just got one set of cards today, but that's I'm starting. I don't know if I'm going to go that route, but apparently I've got a few cards in there that are already pretty valuable.
I wish they'd just make a poster of the artwork. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to play, but I love I might buy over the artwork. The artwork is
amazing.
So good. And
the artwork in Doctor Who has been amazing from the get-go. It's just, it's simply great stuff.
What has been the eye-catching thing or something that that surprised people today?
The Bullock Dalek play suit from 65, because it's the suit that was used in Adventure in Time and Space movie with David Bradley. And the annual signed by William Hartnell.
Oh, wow.
Which was pretty unique because he only signed a handful of those with his name and date.
Mm-hmm.
I can show you real quick. It's
wow.
Nothing special about the annual. They printed 30,000.
The great artwork, as we talked about, though, that is amazing. Yeah.
But here's his signature.
Oh, wow.
I bought this 30 years ago, so it predates the internet.
Yeah.
Significantly. And I bought it from a dealer who got this from William Russell.
Oh, wow.
And so I can almost verify that it was that. But William Hartnell really, he always did personalization.
Okay.
Except for a stack of these books. He just put his name and the date.
Gotcha. Okay.
So what an amazing find. And I've had it ever since. So that's probably, the other thing that I have that's pretty rare is I have the first hardcover book published in 74, The Auton Invasion. And it's in pretty good condition. It's very hard to find, almost impossible to find.
Gotcha. What kind of thing did you think, I'm going to pack this with me and wow them here at the...
Well, I actually wasn't looking to wow. I wanted to get a good selection of things from each year so that I wanted to focus a lot on the 60s and then the 80s. Like you see the ball caps over there. That's when they went crazy with the logo and opened up the U.S. market.
Mm-hmm.
That was when the official U.S. launch was 83.
Yes.
I started my store in 84, and that was a great year to be a Doctor Who dealer.
Right.
But as I, got older, I went to college, I sold my store, but the store got a name change, and it's still going today.
There you go.
So that's one thing. I'm not affiliated. I love these inflatable Daleks.
Yeah.
And especially this one, because when the minute after this design hit the screen, they canceled it because nobody liked it. But they did it, four of these in yellow, red, white, and blue, I believe. Those were the colors of the four that came on screen.
What are some of the practices you do to appropriately store your merchandise?
All of the bags that I use are from Bags Unlimited Incorporated. They're one of my sponsors. These are acid-free protection bags. They will last a lifetime to keep it from yellowing, aging, protection from the sun.
Mm-hmm.
And they have sizes for standard paperback all the way up to the posters. Okay. Those are also Bags Unlimited bags. I do try very hard to keep the Dalek play suit box in a damp-free environment because it's, almost 60 years old itself.
Gotcha.
The Radio Times have special bags. The games have special bags. Just to protect it, I keep all my posters in portfolios.
Mm-hmm. I
keep a lot of things in plastic boxes, like the play sets, so that they're acid-free and sturdy, so they don't get crushed.
Gotcha.
So it's protection. For a long time, my podcast had a segment called Collection Protection. I've kind of run the course with it.
Okay.
But I do come back to it from time to time.
And your podcast, the Doctor Who Collectors Podcast,
yes.
Tell people about what kind of angles you take with celebrating Doctor Who on your podcast?
It's really a wide range. I start with specific collectibles, like a book series or a magazine series, and I've had celebrity interviews, including Peter Purvis, Sadie Miller. I've had, and I will have Katie Manning on the show next month.
Wow.
So it's kind of, FeedSpot has a list of the top Doctor Who podcasts. I fall at 31.
31. All right.
It's not bad. I'll take it.
Hey, there's probably people they kill for 31.
Yeah, I was shocked and surprised actually to see that listing. I thought, wow, I've got quite a few listeners, which is great.
I'm not just putting this out.
I get emails. Well, the email I got for this challenge, 60 items for 60 years,
Gotcha.
was you had to already have it in your collection. Couldn't order something new. Can you meet that challenge? It took me about a week or so, and I said, yes, I can, including 63. So that was the challenge. And I had my 2023 item already on order, so that counted.
Oh, wow.
Because it was before I got the email.
Gotcha.
But that was the Regeneration figure set with David Tennant and Jodie Whittaker.
Oh, okay.
2023.
I've got that. Yeah, I've got that one myself too. Yeah.
So that was this year. But every year, something happened.
Mm-hmm.
Even when the show was off the air, something happened.
Some big event. Yeah.
Yeah. Pinball Machine came out in 91. So
it's a great
that.
pinball machine.
And in the 90s, the license was free and easy because the show was off the air.
Right.
It was not in repeat. So they said, sure, we'll give you a license. So it was a great time for Doctor Who in merchandise all the way back to the beginning. Just so many things to go through. And I wanted to get a good sampling of, including foreign editions of books, vinyl records, cassette tapes, even related items like the Doctor Who Book of Monsters or the Peter Davison Guide to Alien Monsters, and games like the War of the Daleks, that's from 76, or the chess set from 92. The Hardest Tent was from 1983. Wish I had that as a kid.
Oh, okay.
But, what an amazing selection. And the Daypole playsets. I just shared the playset with the Ace action figure with Sophie Aldred.
Yes.
She doesn't have one.
Oh.
Just, I wish I had one of these. And I said, I wish I could help you. They're very hard to find.
You're not finding one here today. Tell you that. You can look.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on her.
I do. I will. Yeah.
What's the rarest Target novelization you brought with you today?
The rarest Target edition actually I have.
Those can go for a pretty penny now.
It's in my panel box, but I'll tell you about it. It's a copy of Doctor Who and the Daleks, which came out in 1974.
Okay.
It is probably the third or second one out of the box from the publisher.
Wow.
Because it was in the personal library of Chris Achilleos, who drew the cover.
Wow.
Chris passed away a couple years ago, and I was friends with his wife, Tasha.
Okay.
And Tasha gave me this book with the authentication that it came from his library.
Wow.
It is in mint condition. It is not signed or even opened. But typically, and for publishing house, they give away to the author, the editor, and the artist. First book's off the press.
You're friends with anyone that has missing episodes?
Sadly, no. But I did do a show on it.
Gotcha.
I called it The Ultimate Collectible. A Doctor Who episode that no one knows you have.
Right.
No one can share it with you. And there was a gentleman, I can't think of his name, who actually writes about it pretty regularly, but he listened to my episode and he contacted me and said, I can verify there are 5 Doctor Who episodes in the hands of private collectors. We don't know what's on them, and they're not talking.
And is that be in addition to the ones that Philip Morris and Paul?
Yes. Well, Philip Morris is the one who contacted.
He is the one. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I've got that, and he listened to the episode, and I pretty much know that some of the films were taken out of landfills. They were, and the collectors want to keep the film, which the BBC assures they will.
Yeah.
They just want the content, which they do own.
Right. Yeah, I'll give it back, but then when you give it back, it's not special. It's
it's like having the Mona Lisa when it's still hanging in the Louvre.
So you're Peter Davison.
Yeah. Yes.
Do you have other cosplays of doctors?
This is the only one I do, because I grew up with John Pertwee and Tom Baker, but Peter Davison was the first new doctor that was really hyped and we waited a year for it. And our PBS station decided, we're going to go back to the beginning and then make you wait another year to get to Peter Davison. So I was excited to get him. Plus, when I was in the Many Companions of Doctor Who fan club when I was much younger, they were going to do a fan film. And because I used to have blonde hair, they said, you could be the 5th Doctor. And I said, cool. So I've always had a nice and I've had great conversations with Peter Davison.
Yeah.
And I'll see him next month.
Oh,
I'll be
artist. Yeah.
So I'll get to have my picture with him in costume, which will be nice.
Excellent. Awesome. Where can people keep up with all your stuff on social media or?
We're at Doctor Who Collectors Podcast, and the website is drwhocollectors.com.
Okay.
All the episodes of the podcast are on the website, although, the providers don't always keep it all. And we also have a Patreon with the video interviews.
Okay.
So it's been growing ever since I started the podcast. I started out because nobody else was talking about collectibles.
Yeah.
And now I'm the go-to person for collecting. So it's kind of a great thing, and I've been doing it for 42 years. So
crazy. Oh, awesome. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you
for sharing everything with us.
Thank you so much.
This weekend. All right. Thank you. So, Doctoberfest is a Lego constructing competition, and be better to avid than Jason Wolfson, a Lego builder and collector extraordinaire. Hello, welcome to Doctoberfest. How many Doctoberfest things for you?
This is actually my first.
First one. What are your initial thoughts?
This has been wonderful. Got to meet Sophie Aldred. That was really cool. And yeah, love it.
Love it. Okay, so how far back does your Lego love gone? You've had an extraordinary journey with.
Would you believe it's 48 years?
I can.
At least. Yes. So about, in excess of 48 years when I was a little kid.
And you've been a part of exclusive clubs and competitions and winning. When did it first occur to you that, hey, I might be able to do something? What was the exact key moment that turned you?
Well, I joined a club back in your early 2000s after I got out of school, spent a long time in school, and moved to New England for my first job. I happened to be at a Lego store, and there was a bunch of guys there. Mm-hmm. Like, are you guys a club? They said, yeah. And I joined them. So that was the New England Lego Users Group. And funnily enough, that was before, I don't know if you've seen the show Lego Masters.
I've heard of it. I know. Okay, yeah.
One of the hosts, he was part of that club.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And he got a job a few years later for Lego. And so that's
waiting on my call. We were buds. Great. So when did your love for Doctor Who and the Legos come together? Was it something
well, I always loved Doctor Who. I always loved Lego. I didn't start combining them until, basically probably about 20 years ago.
Okay.
Maybe a little more than 20 year ago when I was like, I had a real job.
Yeah.
And I could afford. I was like, I'm going to build this giant TARDIS, which is over there.
All right.
I said, I'm going to build that. And I did. And that was fun.
How long did it take to map out, construct that sort of
that one? Years, yeah. It's a good question. Probably maybe 10, 15 hours. I had a plan, and then I bought a bunch of pieces, and then I was like, okay, let's see if I could build it. And, with some modification, I then eventually built that, but the first revision of it didn't have the engraved police box there. It was just, there were Lego tiles with letters on them, and I just had that there, and I was like, okay, we'll do that. And then eventually not too long ago, I got a machine to engrave bricks, and then I just made it look even more authentic.
Have any of your pieces been lent out to exhibits or anything like that over the years?
Good question. Mainly show at shows. The Brick Fair is the big one I do, which is in Virginia.
Okay.
Lent out a piece. That's a good question. No.
No? All right.
No, but yes. Just recently, community theater in my area, they needed a prop, and one of my friends who I play D&D with, said, "Oh, talk to Jason. He'll help you out." And I was like, so I got connected on Facebook Messenger, and I said, "Yeah, we need this prop of a bridge." And I said, "Oh, okay. How big do you want it?" I designed it in a CAD program, and I said, "How does that look?" And they're like, "Oh yeah." And then basically designed it and built it within probably 6 hours.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so so there you could say it's on display. They're leasing it from me, and then I'll get the parts back, and so they pretty much paid me for my time. It was fun.
What have you brought here for this day, this festival?
Well, start off. I have that big TARDIS over there. Wow. There's the mosaic of the Doctor Who logo. I brought that. The little scene down there with Sophie Aldred's ace beating the heck out of a Dalek.
Let's see, I'm working my way around. This big Dalek here I brought. The littler Dalek over there. This one. That scene. I have to admit that's what we call minifigure barf, where you just put a whole bunch of minifigures out.
Yeah.
The David Tennant. There's another one in the TARDIS over there. There's a funny story with that one. We do a charity auction at Brick Fair, and I built the statue as a copy of the one I had in there, and I gave him 3D glasses, sonic screwdriver, and a friend was at a convention and got David Tennant's autograph on a piece.
Oh, wow.
I ended up buying my own model back because I was like, I gotta have it. That's mine. It's mine.
Gotcha. Now, you have one Space 1999 Eagles over here that you're trying to get as an actual set.
Yes, I am. So this little guy right here I built this after I built this huge one. This one, I wanted to build one that I can, go, swoosh it. So, swooshable. So, you can all in one hand and, I did that just to test it.
Gotcha.
So, so I put these on display at Brick Fair in August, which is the big convention I was talking about. And a friend told me, he's like, you have to make that submission to Lego Ideas. So I did. And it's got quite a few votes now. I mean, it's only been up there for 2 months. It's got 650-ish votes. You need 10,000 to get it to be an official set.
Gotcha.
So
what's the space of time that you have to get that?
So basically, to get the first 100 votes, you have 2 months to get 100 votes.
Okay.
Once you get 100 votes, then they give you a 1-year extension.
Oh, okay.
And then if you hit the 1,000, they give you 6 months. And then if you get 5,000, they give you another 6 months.
Okay.
So I'm at I checked the day count. It's 364 days left to get another 400 votes.
Okay. It's doable.
That's doable, yeah. Well, and over here I have the 3 different designs because there was always the laboratory and the medical eagle. So I put them and I built them. And that QR code basically takes you right to the web page and my model section for this where people can vote. And there's a lot. There's also going to be in a fan magazine called Brick Journal. I wrote an article about this, so this will also be in there because the guy who publishes the journal, he saw that and he appreciated the accuracy of the models.
Gotcha.
So,
Enchanted life's like you do with David Tennant, but Barbara Bain.
that would be cool. Yeah. I'm afraid I wouldn't make it look as pretty as she is. So
fair enough. You could duplicate it as a Mission Impossible one too. You could have two ways to go.
There are people that have done custom Space 1999, the minifigure scale. So and they've done a really good job of that. I didn't do that for this. I mean, probably they might say, "Hey, why don't you do that too?" If it makes it beyond that, but yeah, and I had a lot of fun building that, and the fact that people want to have their own copy of it, I was like, okay, I'll do it.
Excellent. All right.
Hopefully in time for the 50th anniversary, maybe a year or two after it might show up as a set. We'll see.
Awesome. Will there at least exist in some form?
Yes.
Excellent. All right. Another of our props and collectors people here at Doctoberfest is Kevin and Bob, the Raptor. Hello, Kevin.
Hello.
Hello. How are you today?
Not too bad.
Not too bad. What have you brought here for Doctoberfest to supply, aside from Bobby here?
Well, yeah. So my mammal over here has totally brought he makes plastic mammals. It's very, very fun. So very, very, very cool. And I just love going to Doctoberfest just because it's awesome.
How long have you been collecting for?
It's been probably my whole life.
Your own life? What was the genesis of?
I started with Star Trek as my fandom.
Okay.
And I loved it. My very first action figure would have been a Star Trek 3 Ertl Star Trek figure. Like that was like the thing that I loved.
Guys,
I got into Doctor Who later as a logical extension of that.
what year of Doctor Who started? Well,
Nice Doctor.
then I
Yeah.
okay.
I was like, when 2005 came around and Star Trek Enterprise ended, I was very, very sad. And my friend handed me that DVD of the Ninth Doctor's first season. He said, "Dude, watch this." I don't know. I watched it and I was hooked. So
Is that your doctor then, or you haven't done for years?
it's hard to tell. I got more attached to Rose than to Niall.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
But like I probably Ken Rose is probably my favorite.
So what's the crown jewel of your collection at the current time?
Ooh, hard to say.
Hard to say.
Yeah, I was gonna say when you're talking about like just I have stuff everywhere in every room. Huh.
What's the thing that took like you just like when you acquired it? It was like, is there any big ones that you through an auction or something like that you acquired that you just like?
It's more like the stuff that I've made.
Okay.
The stuff that I've like put together. Like I said, I can custom
Because you've done, yeah, that's right.
like when something works really, really well. I'm just that's where the feeling.
Gotcha. What was your first custom figure that you made?
That had to be 1999-ish. I made a Playmates Captain Sisko.
Okay.
From season 7, which was based on a very rare Target exclusive Star Trek figure.
Yeah.
And I decided I wanted to have the Deep Space Nine crew in the corresponding uniform. So that was probably the very first one I put together.
Excellent. And did you bring any custom ones here with each day?
Oh, yeah. Like you said, got a custom Jackie Tyler. We got this version of 4 unit. This 9th Doctor era Jack Harkness, George Lucas, John Favreau.
What did you base some of these off of? Because you mix and match parts?
Yeah. You find like a good likeness, or if a likeness lives or dies on the shape of a face. You can see the body here is the same. I just repainted the body and found a good head for Jackie. It's pretty straightforward.
Anything in the works?
Always, all the time.
Yeah.
And whatever. Or I was gonna say it's more just like whatever comes to mind. And I'll just start working. A lot of times, customs when they come together in groups of 3 or 4. Because I have this, therefore there's parts that will lead to that.
So, have you worked on the shooting gauntlet? What the hell is going on here? Figure, because that's all we know he says so far. So
yeah. Like we're not there yet.
Not there yet.
Yeah, but obviously, I can't wait to see what 15 brings for us.
Gotcha. Excellent. Well, anything else you want to share with us?
I'm grateful you guys took the time. Mr. Punch, where are you? Get up here. Mr. Punch, have you seen the baby? The baby. The baby, Mr. Punch. Baby. Yes, Mr. Punch. Baby. Where are you, baby? Our baby's downstairs. Go find him. All right, now, when Mr. Punch finds the baby, I want you to know that we're having a lovely elderly. Go what? Go blink. I can't blink. See, no eyelid. Okay, please. Put in the baby. Go find the baby. All right, now, when Mr. Punch finds the baby, I will tap off and stuff. Mr. Punch, Oh, there he is. There he is. Oh, thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we've had a lovely time. Oh, good grief. Mr. Puncher, sharp as a marble. I tell you, it's the brains up in the feet. But we've had a lovely time here at Doctoberfest. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Wow, for tea. Thank you. Thank you. That's enough.
All righty. One of the staples here at Doctoberfest Collision is the Punch and Judy show, which how many years has it been going?
Mr. Punch has been around for 361 years.
Okay.
This is our second year here at Doctoberfest.
So the first one, was it last year?
Yep.
Okay.
Last year was the first time. Had a blast. We're so glad to be back.
Excellent. And you are?
I'm Guy Thompson. I'm the Punch professor for Punch and Judy.
So you're obviously not 361 years old.
Not even close.
Not even close. But how many years have you been invested in the Punch and Judy show?
Been doing Punch and Judy for about 18 years now.
Okay.
Yep.
What was your first show that you
gosh.
Punch and Judy?
I did some shows for a small pioneer festival at where we live in Northeast Indiana. And that's how I got started with Punch and Judy.
Gotcha. Have you crafted your own puppets?
Oh, no. Actually, this gentleman comes from England himself. A gentleman named Brian Clark made him. He's about 3 years old now. So very traditional punch, looking for a punch there. And Brian Clark is 85, still performing, still making puppets over there. So puppetry keeps you young.
Oh, right. Gotcha. Now, have you is there some sort of like acting background you have to add to?
I actually have very little theater experience, oddly enough, but this is a lot of fun just because Mr. Punch is very chaotic. You can just throw whatever you want in. You can throw references. So obviously for this weekend, we're seeing how many Doctor Who references we can put in the show.
Gotcha.
And being a traditional, he is the national puppet of Britain.
Right.
So it's a nice little addition to have over here since, ties in nicely with all the fun British things for Doctor Who.
And you're a Doctor Who fan yourself?
Immensely, yes.
How far do you go back with? I love
Oh my God. Stories. Back to my elementary school, our PBS station in Columbus, Ohio, would show Sunday mornings, Doctor Who. And I remember the Tom Baker Doctor being one of the first ones I was really watching.
Is he your favorite or?
One of my favorites from that era, I think more recently, really like Matt Smith, David Tennant, can't go wrong there. They've all been excellent, but we all have our favorites.
Somebody's favorite. I love it. That's right. I never think down on any of them. And I know
they're all wonderful.
Serve their purpose. How much preparation do you have to spin a Punch and Judy show into a Doctor Who one?
It depends. If you're really going around looking for props and we find something that catches our eye and think, oh, okay, we can throw that into the show, have a little humor with it. For years, I actually had a Dalek in my show.
Okay.
There was part of the show where Judy calls for an exterminator. Mr. Punch brings up a Dalek.
Perfect.
So,
any special ones for this weekend's show or?
A couple, yeah. We've got a Weeping Angel.
Oh, okay.
We have kind of grief. Going through the show here. We use a sonic screwdriver a couple times. Like the little plastic dart spinning through the scene. Some fun stuff like that.
Excellent. And it's a very interactive show as well.
It is.
People who are much familiar with Punch and Judy.
Yeah. We rely on the audience to talk back to the puppets. The puppets will talk back to them a lot. The audience has to be engaged enough to tell the puppets, hey, there's something going on behind you. There's something over here, and help that way. It makes a lot of fun.
What's the craziest situation that's happened from an audience? Because there's unpredictability when you include them.
It's hard to narrow it down. A lot of things can happen during a show. Usually with a lot of kids, I just get so much feedback. It's almost hard to keep up with them. Okay. And it's also hard sometimes to even hear myself talk. I'm in the booth. I can hardly hear what I'm saying because they're so loud out there, shouting at the puppets, laughing along, screaming at times. It's just a blast.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Any changes up from show to show to show today? You've got 3 shows.
3 shows. More or less the same, but again, it depends on the interaction from the audience. That really dictates a lot of things that happen in the show. So if I get some different feedback from them and just kind of run with it, different things that get popped in from time to time.
As we're talking, any highlights from the first show? You haven't put on the second two yet.
What's fun about this is there's a lot more adults in my audience.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it's kids that come for the shows, the festivals, but with so many adults in it, it makes it a lot different. The interaction is more, more even that way. Okay, they're wonderful. They're really getting into it, laughing a lot, but then I get these great little feedback from them that I don't necessarily get from the kids because they're getting the jokes that the kids don't get.
Gotcha.
Not adult jokes per se, but you know what I mean.
Right.
We get some of these funny. Yeah, it's like
frameworks, Pixar, cartoons. Yeah.
You get jokes the kids go, what was that? Don't worry about it. You'll find out later.
Right. Yeah. If you find a recording of this program later, your memory spark.
Exactly.
Exactly. Great. Awesome. Well, best of luck on the next 2 shows. Wonderful talking to you.
Yeah,
And can't wait to check it out.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. There is so much media in the Doctor Who universe, and one of the ways to continue adventures with old friends and explore more with new friends is the Big Finish audio series that you get from Big Finish. And one of the guests here at Doctoberfest 2023, Collision, is Russell McGee, an audio engineer over at Big Finish.
Hello.
And a person near and dear to my heart. So
Brandon and I actually met a few years ago at Indie Pop Con and just stayed in contact and enjoy this crazy world of Doctor Who. So he's even had me on a few times, and we've talked about the Peter Cushing Doctor Who films. But as far as Big Finish goes, I've actually now been working with them for 9 years. I met Jason Higgley back in 2013 with the 50th anniversary, and then went through a 6-month audition process. And then the rest is history, and that's how I've been doing these for the last 9 years. And you talked about these as far as the expanded stories that actually are out there. Believe it or not, and one of my other good friends, we figured it out. At this point, there are actually double the amount of Doctor Who stories in audio as there are from actual televised stories. So Big Finish has been doing this for 27 years now. And they actually have more content out there for Doctor Who than even the actual TV show, which is crazy considering it's been on for 60 years now.
I think there are about more now Christopher Eccleston stories on Big Finish than
I think you're right.
his time
right.
the show.
Yeah, because
which is an incredible land for them, and to get him interested in continuing, which recently he said money was a reason. But
right.
Hey, you got to eat. But yeah, so some of these, I mean, how many are you for? You can't talk about things you're currently working. How many are you currently working on? Are there any at the moment, or?
Not right at this moment.
Okay.
I'm actually working with Jason in a different capacity. We're trying to do something different and possibly bring the audios to radio here in the States, which has not been done before. So more to come on that, but that's not anything signed in ink yet, but we are in discussions trying to make that happen so that then Big Finish would be actually on the air on the radio.
Man, the hard, you're in an interesting position where the hard work you do can be heard because it's all the audio, so people know right away. But in a 40 to 90 minute installment, which these tend to be because they've been on a disc, that's 90 minutes. But how many hours on top of that does it take for your end of the deal?
Honestly, it depends. Because I also work full-time at a PBS affiliate station at WTIU. And the reason I bring that up is, like, since I'm working part-time, when I started out, for example, it was something where the first story which I worked on was this guy, a third Doctor adventure called The Prisoners of the Wake. And on it actually gave me a year to work on getting just the stories for this done, which, you know, a set usually you have 4 hours of content plus another hour of bonus features, and so I had a year to work on those. And I only did 2 of the story, or essentially 2 of the stories, as far as 2 episodes. So that is how that was then. Now it's more down to like a 6-month process for like something like the Gallifrey sets, where I'm doing the full 4 hours plus the behind the scenes.
Okay.
And the thing, and a lot of people don't know this, that's interesting, is a lot of the time they'll send the raw audio from the actors, and they'll record it sometimes where it's 6 months to a year apart. So they're not really acting in the same room. Sometimes they're just acting with the director, and then I have to combine all that and make them sound like they're actually talking and reacting in the same room together.
Yeah.
And then we add in all the like ambient sounds as far as like what a room sounds like, and any of the effects that you hear. Like, I always tell this story about this guy, because in this one, with Runaway Bride, they had the Queen of Arachnos.
Okay.
And in that, as you'll remember, she doesn't move.
No.
So, like, I had to create all the sound effects for, like, a bunch of Arachnos of them moving on different surfaces, like on a moon surface or on their starship. And so the thing that we did was a friend and I got together in this 5x8 room and recorded all the different sounds on, like, cat litter, on a baking sheet.
Okay.
And we used these king crab legs. And so,
so awesome.
After 8 hours of recording in a small confined space like that, those crab legs started to stink a little.
Great.
So it turned out amazing. Sounds great, and you can really hear them moving around. Like
Nice for the art.
yeah, it's one of those things where now it's made a cool story.
What was it like the first time you got to add like TARDIS interior ambiance? You're like, I'm doing it. I'm putting. What was that like?
In college, it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was that and like the dialects. Those were the two things. Like the first 2 times I got to work on anything like that. And here's another small story. Like one dialect story. I was in the middle of doing the sound design and everything, cutting things together, and all of a sudden, in between takes, Nick Briggs stops and he says, "Hello, Russell." And I'm like, no. That totally caught me off guard. It was amazing.
You get other message. Did you get a message from like Louise Jameson or somebody who said something? Hello, Russell McGee.
Louise Jameson has like we've even talked back and forth over email because like she's sent stuff directly to me as they've been recording things like on Gallifrey War Room Allegiance. So yes, I've been able to talk to her.
That's fun. Yeah, and these, I mean, there's so much Big Finish. It's hard to like jump. It's scary to jump in. I just say pick something and go with it. But it's so impressive how they're put together, and it's just so much work. No budget, no legalities, not Doctor Who. If you were able to direct and put together a Big Finish audio series or feature from a franchise, or what would it be?
Well,
Dream project, no budget, no restrictions. Even how about the dead are still living from if someone's passed away from it?
Oh,
I just made it harder.
you did just make it. I was gonna go like no. First and foremost, I would say out of like the actors that are still around, the one person that I would absolutely love to be able to work with and like write and direct a story with would be Paul McGann, and being able to do an 8th Doctor story would be amazing. I have written one subscriber short, and I've written a few other stories outside of Big Finish, but I've not had the opportunity to work in that capacity yet, and I would absolutely love it.
Gotcha. And let's go into your written work, because you've done ears, you've done I guess written.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and with TIU, I've also done puppets.
Right.
But,
that's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
But with these guys, it's like the Sarah Jane Smith adventures. I wrote a story that actually is like after the Sarah Jane adventure that came out in the early 80s.
K9?
Yeah, K9 and Company. And with that guy, I set it with Chris Parsons from Shada and had Sarah Jane and Chris get together because Unit calls Sarah in to investigate a haunted house or a seemingly haunted house.
Of course, yeah.
Right.
There's always an explanation behind the paranormal in Doctor Who, yeah.
Right. And I'm, again, as I've said to multiple people here, I'm not going to spoil the ending, but there's a really cool twist ending with
All right.
Then on this guy, I actually worked on a 4th Doctor story in Sarah.
Okay.
So we got a theme going here. And also a little bit of a Halloween theme because it's set on a ghost ship in Australia, and it's based on an actual historical ghost ship.
Okay.
Where they found the ship with all the people on the boat dead and with their faces locked in a screen. The dog was like mid-howl, and the last SOS that they had from the ship was the first mate, and it ends with "I die."
Oh.
So it just seemed like the perfect fodder for a Doctor Who story.
Okay.
And so I picked that up and ran with it.
All right. Excellent. All right. And I also want to mention, is it available anywhere publicly? But you have a fantastic audio drama of Frankenstein out there.
I do. It is not available yet publicly, but the other thing that I can say, because you're asking about outside work, I just did a series where we did an adaptation of The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, and had Frank Ross from Breaking Bad, and PJ Oakland from Young Sheldon, and a couple other things. But like, we got to do the original novel and explore things that you haven't seen before, like in the film. Like, there is Wakasa Tadipu, which is the Good Witch of the North. And in the film, they combined the Good Witch of the North and the South into one character. So we got to really play with that. We got to do things like the China country, where there's a China princess. And so there's a lot of new characters that audiences aren't familiar with unless they're familiar with the novel. And we brought all of that to life with a full cast audio. That's actually already aired on WFIU earlier this year. And then we're getting ready to release that through Soundbooth Theater. And it's already won 9 awards through the Communicator Awards. So we've done all right with it so far.
Excellent. All right. Well, Russell McGee here, one of the guests at Doctoberfest, and celebrating Big Finish and those working hard behind the scenes, bringing the stories you love.
Thanks for being here, and we hope you have fun and enjoy the experience.
I'm here with Troika Brodsky, a private film and television collector, and a Doctoberfest 2023 collision. He's brought with us some of his Sonic collections. Troika, welcome.
Yeah. It's nice to meet you. This is going to be fun.
Have you been to Doctoberfest?
I have not. This is my first.
Your first one. And so, from my understanding, a lot of your collections at an exhibit in St. Louis currently?
That is correct. I've got an exhibition going on at the St. Louis Science Center. It's running through March of 2024. And it's in celebration of the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who and the 60th anniversary of the planetarium at the St. Louis Science Center.
Oh, wow.
It worked out really nice.
Worked out. And you should, but hey, it's a day older than Doctor Who.
You know, we're trying to keep it light.
There. So what have you brought? What were you able to bring here for Doctoberfest?
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, a lot of my stuff is on exhibit in St. Louis right now, but I have a few screen-used pieces that I thought would be fun to bring out.
Excellent.
I've got a stunt prop of a Sonic pen that was used in one episode. I mean, for starters, all of this is modern era stuff.
Right.
When you get into classic Who, there were really only 3 props ever built. And other than Romana's Sonic, the other 2 don't really exist anymore. So I've got a Sonic pen here. I've got one of Jodie's Hero Sonics. I have a stunt laser screwdriver from Series 3. And then I have a one-off prop that was built for when Tennant's Sonic got burnt out. They built 2 of those props for that sequence, so that's one of those. And then on the end there, standing up, is a stunt Sonic used by both Christopher Eccleston and David Tennant. That was built for Series 1. They built 3 stunt props for Series 1 and 2 hero props. So that is one of the 3 stunt props. It's also got the distinction of being the only complete Christopher Eccleston Sonic to still exist.
Oh, wow.
That's known. There could be 2 other stunts out there somewhere, but they haven't been located.
And these are ones that have been held in the hands of these said actors.
Yeah. They're all filming props.
That is exciting. And they're functional to some degree still?
The hero Jodie is functional. That one, you could stick a battery in there and light it up and it would spin around and do its stuff. But I don't like to keep batteries in the props, and I don't need acid leaking.
Sound to emanate from them, or is it
no? All of the sound effects,
unlike the little the toy.
That's right. Yes, the sound is great, but obviously they do all that in post.
Right. Cool. And what are some of the other Doctor Who stuff you have that aren't on display?
Yeah. So my focus is specifically Sonic screwdriver collecting. With 60 years of Doctor Who, kind of got a pick a lane and go with it unless you have unlimited funds and
there's
and an aircraft hangar of space. So I chose to stick specifically with the sonic device. I actually have the only existing Hero sonic screwdriver used by Paul McGann and Sylvester McCoy in the TV movie.
It's the only time Sylvester had one.
Yeah. So that's the oldest sonic in our collection. Is that one, which is on display. I have a fun sonic that was used for a comedy skit called The Curse of the Fatal.
Yes.
So it was a replica, an off-the-shelf replica that they used in that skit. But I have the original one that Joanna Lumley as the 13th Doctor. And then as it relates to Modern Who, in the collection, we have hero and stunt examples of all the major characters' props. So every Doctor from 9 forward, we've got a hero example of River Song Sonic. There's a lot of fun stuff. So if anyone can make it to St. Louis before March,
Here we go.
The one time I have gone outside of my lane, I pulled the trigger on a screen-used TARDIS, which is also on display in St. Louis, which was used in Twice Upon a Time. So in the show, it was
regeneration story.
Yeah, it was David Bradley's first Doctor TARDIS, and then they used that same TARDIS prop again for the Fugitive Doctor's TARDIS. So it's shown up as 2 different Doctors' TARDISes with 4 different Doctors. Just it's not the main prop, but it is gorgeous because it looks like the first Doctor's TARDIS.
We got a good story about the David Tennant Sonic last night. We were talking a little bit why you would pick not the one he took, but the other one.
Okay.
I wanted to share that.
Yeah, so I'll take a step back, which is when they rebooted the show and they were working on it in 2004. 2 hero props were made for Eccleston to use. And those 2 physical props ended up being the same props used throughout all filming up through the beginning of Series 5. So it was always just 2 props that would get rebuilt, that would get refurbished, cleaned up. Same 2 props the whole way through. When David Tennant finally wrapped at the end of Series 4, they gifted him one of the 2, but then the other one stuck around for a little bit more filming and ended up being the prop in Matt Smith's first episode at the beginning that gets gooed up and then blown up. So between the two, one of them was used by 3 different Doctors.
Got a bigger journey.
Yes, it's a little worse for wear. But
are there any other, you've picked your lane with the Sonics, but is there any other aspect of Doctor Who that you're like, I just can't get into that, but I'd love to for prop collecting?
So for me, historically, I am a prop collector. That's what I've done forever. Screen use props is my jam.
Right.
I love the TARDIS. I love the Daleks. I also love miniatures. Both of which have been used in miniature form on a show as well. So, were I to ever come across a miniature TARDIS, a proper miniature Dalek, or, full size, but sized
miniatures of people he shrank,
that would be pretty cool as well. So, I've been known to cheat if the right thing comes along. But I am currently struggling to figure out what I'm going to do with this TARDIS at the end of its exhibition. Because while it will technically fit in my home, I have a 4-year-old, and I don't want to be the guy who ended up with a child writing Sharpie all over the outside of a TARDIS.
Understood.
So we'll see where that goes next. It may go to another exhibition.
They did that on the set. You just didn't see from the seat. Covered it up.
Oh, yeah.
It was there the whole time. Even though it says my name as on there.
That's right.
So movie film collecting props. What are your top 3 maybe most meaningful to you that you've collected over?
I started collecting screen use props in the late 90s. The first prop I ever bought was a 2x2 foot surface section of the Death Star.
When people buy basketball court floors, downstate.
And when they made Star Wars and they filmed all the miniature shooting of the X-wings going over it, they made all these surface sections. They glued them all together on top of ping pong tables out in Van Nuys, and that's what they flew over. So it's a big thing, but it was that started me on my journey that you could actually find this real stuff. Because I started as a collector, I started with comic books and toys. And the first time I realized that you could actually get things from the actual production, I really excited the heck out of it. So I started with Star Wars. I've collected Star Wars forever. A lot of other genre stuff. I collected Lord of the Rings hard for 10 years. But this has been the most fun I've had collecting in a long time, and really just the people I've met, the people associated with the show that I've been able to track down and interview, and just try to mine for information, because a lot of this stuff, as you can imagine, when they're making props like this, they're doing it fast, they're doing it on a budget, and they're often definitely not thinking about what someone is going to want to do with these from an archival purpose 20 years later.
Right.
Lots of masks and stuff are made out of things that aren't meant to last, right? Just start degrading. And so when it comes to trying to find the history, whether it's how many were made, how did you make it, who made it, I found myself at times talking to the people who I know made this stuff, and they still don't remember what they did or how they did it. I'm like, how did you not remember? He's like, look, it was a job. That was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So, but it doesn't make it, it's still incredibly interesting to get to talk to these folks.
Yeah, to bring it down, what's the closest, like, what's the thing that's burned you most and you got close to acquiring, but just, someone swiped in the last minute or didn't?
Yeah, I don't know. I think for me, the thing that kind of hurts the most from collecting, especially as a sonic screwdriver collector, is the knowledge that the original Sonic that was used, from whatever 68 on, it was the same prop throughout the entire classic run. They would fix it, they would redress it, but it was the same incredibly important, iconic prop.
The first one, we don't know what it looks. Was this Patrick?
Well, if you're talking about the three little trout, there were three different versions of that. There was a pen, there was a little gun thing, and there's the whistle. But in terms of the classic design, one prop, the Perkway survived forever. Like, I've never heard of a single prop being used for so long, right? And the fact that the story is it got stolen off of the desk of John Nathan Turner. So presumably it could be in a very private black hole collection somewhere. But it's like, that's the piece. And it's not that we know it was destroyed. It's that, like, probably never going to surface, which is a shame, because not just for myself selfishly, but for fandom, like, that piece should, if not be in the BBC archive, should it, like,
and if it's in an elderly person's hands, they pass away, their estate gets it. Oh, at some point,
no one's going to necessarily know what it is. So, yeah. And so a lot of what I do as a collector, it really is, it's a lot of detective work. At times it is really just like trying to suss out what happened, what these things were, checking, trying to get good screenshots to, like, it is, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Great. Well, it's been great talking to you.
Absolutely.
I think you're in your collection what you could.
Yeah, it's great to be able to share this stuff with the fans.
All right, it's cool. You're going to see actual used on the show props. Sonic's the best part at Doctoberfest. So very excited. Thank you, Troy.
Absolutely. Thank you.
We're with the guest of honor, which we will spell Honour.
Oh, yes.
Yes, that's the way it should be spelled.
The way.
Right. Sophie Aldred, who we know as Ace, but, accomplished actor and author of a wonderful book called At Childhood's End, which I did read. I can't lie about that. It was a fun adventure even before your return to the show.
Thank you.
So you're the guest of honor of Doctoberfest. What are your overall, vibe of Doctoberfest that seems unique to it, as opposed to you travel all over to conventions, so...
Well, the clue's in the name, Fest.
Yes.
It really is a festival of Doctor Who. And it is a bit different to... It feels like you're kind of going on a trip somewhere.
Right.
Because, I was taken by a shuttle to the shop, and there's all these stores there, and, yeah, great fun. So it is, but the main vibe is very friendly. Sort of, it feels like a big family's come together.
Have you chatted a lot of episodes? What episode comes up most when you're chatting with the people who come?
Mostly The Curse of Fenric or Remembrance of the Daleks.
Okay, no ghost-like kind of people?
No, people don't tend to talk about ghost-like.
I like it too, and now that there's an extended cut,
yes,
that I like. Which, speaking of those Blu-rays, one of my they're like my favorite thing every time they come out. It's like a piece of history, like an archive. And there's the Behind the Sofa segment, which you are a very recurring person. Who is someone you haven't sat with on that you would like to watch Doctor Who with?
It's sort of, I don't think Louise James. I haven't sat with her for a while. In fact, because she's so busy working, she does very well-known soap opera in Britain called Emmerdale. And so she's always busy. So I never get to see her.
Okay.
So it would be a good chance to get together, catch up with life, and watch some Doctor Who.
All right. What doctors haven't you watched yet that you'd like to?
Oh, let's see. Who would I
You've
know?
been around a lot of them.
Yeah.
Are there any you've watched that you can't tell us about yet?
I don't think so.
Don't think so. They're all out.
No, I'm so out of the loop with
Gotcha.
what's being filmed and then what's going to be shown. So I never like to say anything.
There you go. I just watched you watch Terminus, so that's where the most recent has been. But that one was in the works for a while.
Yeah,
that one. So COVID kind of hit that. So excellent.
There's a funny one where I'm with Bonnie Langford. Have you had that one over here yet? Which is it's the Romans from William Hartnell.
We had that one.
Series
Yes,
2.
there you go. You didn't slip on anything there. We have. I ordered them from the UK because they're so much better packaged. They come out earlier.
The
packaging
much better packaging.
Yeah, I started doing that. It's like a book. It's like everything. It's
Come on, America, catch it.
Exactly. We just get regular cases here, so I stopped that along. I import, which probably makes the UK people mad because they're limited editions. But hey, we're hitting it right.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha. North America, have you picked up any merch from these unique, or is there anything I don't?
I love the fan-made stuff. And in fact, I've got a little shelf at home where I put my favourite little Doctor Who bits and pieces. So the favourite thing I've been given this time in an awesome little box like this, Perspex scrolls. And inside is a little Lego figure of Ace beating up the Dalek with a baseball bat, and it says, "Who are you calling Swarm?" on it.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
It's a replica of the school, the doors. It's just lovely. Really great.
Love that. I love that. One of my favorite figures is the Ace Eagle Moss when they have those. But
Yeah.
Love that one. That's a good one. So you've been to the store too?
Yes, I've been to the store. I was overwhelmed by the collection, and I couldn't get over the collection of stuff from the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
I remember that's the things I like. There's a packet of cereal in there called Sugar Smacks.
Oh, sure, yes.
Yeah, and there's little badges that you used to get. Now, if only I kept them.
Right? Yeah, that's somebody did, luckily, so you can prove that you're not crazy talking. Like, no, you go to Indiana, they have a Sugar Smacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. Awesome.
First off, I love your book.
Thank you.
Do you have a favorite author or a favorite book?
Gosh, that's so hard. It's a bit like saying, who's your favourite doctor, isn't it? Who's your favourite child? I love reading. It's funny because science fiction is not a genre that I was familiar with. And now I read a lot of audiobooks.
Any mementos from this time around?
I had a bit of a disaster because I went to buy some shoe polish to actually do the scuff of my Doc Martens.
Yes.
And by the time I got back to the hotel, the entire lid had come off, and the shoe polish had all gone all over my bag and over everything. But Jane is so wonderful. She took everything home, tried to wash it out for me. So yeah, I've been well looked
She
up.
cleans and feeds it. Like,
She does.
Gosh,
yeah,
wow.
It's like having it's
full service.
Yeah.
I wanted that. Where's mine?
I know. You didn't get
Just show up.
Oh,
Go around. Oh. Well, I know what to ask for next time.
exactly.
All right. Well,
Any passing words for people who've never been to Doctoberfest and maybe would be interested in the future?
Oh, absolutely. You've got to come because it's really friendly, really lovely atmosphere here. And so come or else.
All right, everybody. Thank you for watching, listening, supporting this show, Doctoberfest. Hope that was awesome for you. And stay tuned for more here on the YouTube channel. You're probably going to get my top 4Ks and Blu-rays of 2023, which won't be on the podcast. Where have they been this year? I'm not a Why So Blue anymore, so I don't have a deadline date aside from my own to get it done. And I really want to check out the Warriors 4K from Arrow before I before I make my list. So I can wait on some things I wanted to check out before doing it. So stay tuned for that. Top films of 2023 also coming, and the conclusion of Farewell DCEU. So there's lots going on in the Brandon Peters Show here following the holiday season. Very exciting 2024. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for support. And stay film positive.
Thank you for listening. The Brandon Peters Show is a Creative Zombie Studios production. Produced by Brad Shoemaker and Brandon Peters. Written and edited by Brandon Peters. Announcer vocals by Jessica Alsman. Theme song by Metavari. Web design and show art by Brad Shoemaker with Brandon Peters. All music and clips featured in the episode are property of their respective studios, and no infringement is intended. Additional information on this and other episodes at BrandonPetersShow.com. For any inquiries, press opportunities, or sponsorship, contact mail at BrandonPetersShow.com. The show is available on Apple Music, Spotify, or anywhere podcasts are found.
It's a wonderful, wonderful atmosphere here, and it's so friendly and so fun. So come along next time, or else.
I won't even outro that. That was good.